We begin with Australia. 12 people have died in a shooting in Sydney during a gathering for the Jewish festival of Hanukkah. One of the two shooters is believed to have been among those killed. At least 29 people were injured and are currently in hospital. Australian police are calling it a terror attack. This is the moment when the gunmen opened fire on Bondi Beach. People were seen running for their lives. These images are of the immediate aftermath, showing the first responders at the scene of the horrifying attack. Police and ambulances rushed to the site while the police were trying to apprehend the attackers. The medics were helping the injured, rushing them to nearby hospitals. One of the attackers has been killed and the other is said to be in critical condition. Police declared the shooting a terrorist incident and revealed they had found suspected improvised explosive devices in a vehicle near the beach that was linked to the deceased offender. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, in a televised address, called the attack a targeted attack on Jewish Australians.
This is a targeted attack on Jewish Australians on the first day of Hanukkah, which should be a day of joy, a celebration of faith, an act of evil anti-Semitism, terrorism that has struck the heart of our nation.
I mean, we need to be in a situation where we're sending a clear and unambiguous message to the Jewish community, in fact every Australian that lives in this state, that these horrible acts of violence will never be tolerated.
Israeli President Isaac Herzog condemned the shooting as a cruel attack on Jews and urged the Australian authorities to step up the fight against anti-Semitism.
We send our warmest strength from here, from Jerusalem, and we repeat our alert time and again to the Australian government to seek action and fight against the enormous wave of anti-Semitism which is plaguing Australian society.
Australia has experienced a string of anti-Semitic attacks on synagogues, buildings and cars since the beginning of Israel's war in Gaza in October 2023. Bondi Beach in eastern Sydney is Australia's most famous beach, drawing huge numbers of surfers, swimmers and tourists, especially at weekends.
So I know the guy get shot, very badly injured on the left-hand side, and I just saw a bunch of people screaming, run towards me. I didn't know what was going on. At the time, I said I was on FaceTime to them, so they were just shouting and screaming, saying, you know, get covered, get covered.
And then I started hearing the shots, but at the time we just thought it was like firework or something, or maybe part of the festival that was happening. Then maybe after like, I don't know, 6, 7 shots, we thought, okay, this is weird. And then someone started running, and we all panicked and started running as well. So we left everything behind, like flip-flops, everything. We just ran to the hill. Shots ended, so I must have heard, I don't know, maybe like 40, 50 shots. So we were still unsure what was going on. We just thought maybe it's a false alarm, maybe it's something about, maybe something happening in the party or the market. And then that's when we heard the police and the ambulances.
Let's talk more about this. Dr. Bren Carlile is the Director of Special Projects, Australia, Israel and Jewish Affairs Council, is now joining us live from Melbourne. Dr. Khalil, thank you very much for your time. And it's quite an unfortunate day for Australia. There's a lot that is happening right now. One shooter has been killed. The other is said to be in critical condition. This happened on a day that people are celebrating faith, Hanukkah. What happens next?
Well, that's a big question. Thank you for having me. I know that India is a country that has been touched by terrorism. Just the other week, we had the anniversary of the Mumbai attacks. So you know well the horror that we're facing here tonight. It was really it was a shocking event. In a way, we have feared that something like this would have happened for quite a few years, because there has been an increase in anti-Semitism in Australia, especially for the last 2 years, but really before then. And this anti-Semitism has increased, and it's based on a hatred of Jewish people, based on their race and their religion, but also because of Israel. And this unfettered hatred just grows and grows, and inside that hatred there are people that want to turn that hatred into physical violence against ordinary Jews, and that's what we saw tonight. So what comes next? I don't know. It really is the time for leadership. I think if we hear more statements from our leaders along the lines of there is no place for anti-Semitism in Australia, I don't think that actually means anything. What we need them to say is the people that hate the Jews and the people that hate Israel with an obsessive hatred, we need our political leaders to turn to them and say, you are part of the problem. Situation is not black and white. You need to end your obsessive hatred. You need to start talking in nuance. That is the solution. That's the kind of messaging that we need to see from our political leaders, and I certainly hope that we see them.
Dr. Khalil, let's talk more about these solutions, because Israel has condemned this attack, and according to the Israeli president, he says the Australian government is to seek action and fight against the enormous wave of anti-Semitism which is plaguing Australian society. What has the Australian government done to curb the problem, and what is it supposed to do right now?
The Australian government has instituted a few things. For a start, they provide more funding to the Jewish community in terms of security, to build physical security around Jewish community buildings, to provide funds for armed guards and things like that. But frankly, if you're in a situation that you have to provide money to provide physical security for a community, so the haters can't hurt them, then you're in a bad place. The Australian government has created a position, a special envoy for anti-Semitism. That is a good thing. But, you know, she released her first report, it would have been 6 months ago, and the government hasn't actually enacted any of the things in that report. So we really need the government to... Look, the government is aware of the rise of anti-Semitism. I'm not trying to say that they have a deaf ear, but too often we just get sentiments. We get, ideas of, encouragement for everyone to have social cohesion. We're not getting that kind of strong political messaging that we need, that we really need from our political leaders in situations like this.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Khalil, let's talk about the offenders, because they were carrying huge rifles. These were visible from a distance. What does the gun law say in Australia? Because I'm pretty sure once they emerged from their vehicle and they started shooting, someone or something's got to give.
Yeah, well, look, Australia has very strong gun laws. Our gun laws are the envy of many countries, which is why shootings like this just don't happen in Australia, and why this is so shocking. Even aside from the target, not only did they have those big guns, there was at least two different types of guns that I saw in the videos. And the attackers themselves looked like that they had undergone some kind of training. So what does it say about the gun laws? I don't know. I mean, criminal networks, you can get guns. If you have a license, you can own a gun. Criminal networks manage to get guns. So there are guns out there, and if these people were connected in some kind of criminal network, or if they had foreign help, then perhaps that would have been easy for them to get guns. I don't know. I saw on social media, I don't know if it's true, but I saw on social media that at least one of the gunmen works as some kind of security agent. Security guard. That might be incorrect. You know, social media is full of all these rumors at the moment, but possibly that is one access to guns as well. But again, I don't know. These things will obviously, the truth will come out eventually.
The truth will come out eventually. The investigations are currently going on. Dr. Bren Khalil, it's good to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Pleasure.